afternoon. Please take your seats. We will be starting. Scouts BSA, Troop 36, chartered over 70 years ago at the Saugatuck Congregational Church, is pleased to welcome you to our Eagle Scout Court of Honor in recognition of the achievement of Scouting's highest award by Xavier Rodrigo, Matthew Fleming, Henry Nowak, and Oliver Saitz. Thank you all for coming. My name is Dylan O'Brien, a Life Scout and the Senior Patrol Leader of Troop 36. I will be presiding over the Court of Honor and serve as Master of Ceremonies. Please rise for the entrance of the Eagle Scouts and the presentation of the colors. Please remain standing until directed to sit. Present the colors. Post the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Salute, hand over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Scout expresses Scout signs and Scout oath. On my honor. I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to obey the Scout law, to help the people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. 2. Color guard dismiss. You may be seated. I would like to introduce the Reverend Allison J. Buttrick Patton. Reverend Patton is pastor of Saugatuck Congregational Church. She is Troop 36's Charter Organization Executive and is chaplain, as well as the husband of our Scoutmaster, Mr. Craig Patton.
Good afternoon, and welcome to this Eagle Court of Honor. We are delighted at Saugatuck Church to be your charter organization and to celebrate this significant milestone with the 4 families and your friends and supporters who are gathered this afternoon. An enthusiastic congratulations to all of you. Would you join your hearts with mine as we pause for a word of invocation? Source and sustainer, we gather today grateful for creation and community, for the land that sustains us and the people that inspire us, for families that support us and teachers that encourage us, for the challenges that stretch us and the friendships that buoy us. As we gather to celebrate projects accomplished and services extended, bless our time together. May this occasion serve to reinforce our commitment to creation and to community. May it be a blessing for all those gathered. We ask it in your many names. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Patton. I would now like to introduce our Scoutmaster, Mr. Craig Patton.
Thank you, Dylan. Good afternoon, everyone. How are you out there? Welcome. I would like to welcome all of you this afternoon as we share in this important recognition for 4 of our most recent Eagle Scouts. Today is a day of celebration of them and their journey in Scouting. You will hear throughout this program how this accomplishment covers numerous areas associated with their lives. It is not just the completion of specific requirements, it is the development of their leadership, character, and the traits described in the Scout Oath and Law. It takes a great deal of discipline and work to achieve and marks them as someone who has done a lot and of whom much should be expected in the future. I would like to introduce you to our newest Eagle Scouts at this time. Please stand when I call your name. Xavier Rodrigo. Xavier and his family have been looking forward to this day the longest. He earned his Eagle Scout in November of 2021. During his journey, Xavier served in several leadership roles, culminating with Assistant Senior Patrol Leader. He will enter his junior year at Fordham University in the fall and is an applied accounting and finance major. He is excited to share that he has already landed a job with PwC for the summer of 2024. Thank you. Matthew Fleming. Matthew earned his Eagle Scout in June of 2022. During his time in Troop 36, Matthew served in a variety of leadership roles, including as our first ever instructor for sports and fitness programming. He also attended both a national jamboree and an international jamboree at the Summit Bechtel Scout Reservation. He will graduate from Staples High School in June and has enrolled in Swarthmore College. Thank you. Henry Nowak. Henry earned his Eagle Scout in October of 2022. He served in a variety of leadership positions at Troop 36, including as our senior patrol leader during our 2021-2022 program year. If you ask him at the reception later, he may share with you the recipe for Henry stew, which he created on one of our outings. Henry is graduating from Staples High School in June and has enrolled at the University of Virginia. Have a seat. Oliver Saitz. Oliver earned his Eagle Scout in December of 2022. His leadership roles at Troop 36 included serving as our senior patrol leader from June 2022 to January 2023. He attended the International Scout Jamboree, but perhaps the most unique part of his scouting journey involved designing the official patch commemorating Troop 36's 70th anniversary. He is graduating from Staples High School in June and has enrolled at the Savannah College of Art and Design. Have a seat. We have a few special visitors in our midst, so I would like to acknowledge Connecticut Representative Dominique Johnson, who is with us, and would like to make a brief presentation from the podium.
Thank you very much, Scoutmaster Patton. Thank you, everyone, and I'm just so proud of you all today, and thank you for the service to our community, to our state, and because of that, I'm proud in my official capacity here as one of the state representatives for Westport to have citations from the General Assembly, the entire Westport delegation, myself, State Representative Jonathan Steinberg, and State Senator C.C. Maher, who will be with us shortly, all asked for these citations from our General Assembly leadership. That includes the Senate President and our Speaker of the House, and as well, our Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, who, as we know, was the former state rep in my seat, and they all have given you this citation from the state of Connecticut officially on your recognition as achieving the rank of Eagle Scout and earning the highest honor attainable from the Boy Scouts of America, and it speaks to your dedication to the Scout tradition and the high standards that you uphold. And we also recognize your community volunteerism through the completion of your Eagle Scout service project, and the entire membership of the General Assembly extends our best wishes on this occasion, very memorable occasion, and express our gratitude and hope for your continued service. We know you're going to do great things. So thank you all very much, each one with your name on it, which I will leave here for your Scoutmaster to give to you. Congratulations, everyone.
Thank you very much. I asked the representative to bring these up because they're large, so they're impressive, and you can see them in the back. And I'll just quickly show you what one of them looks like, because they're ornate and cool looking. And there's a whole set of certificates and items downstairs on the tables in the reception. It's a special moment for these boys, and so they received many items of congratulations from all different areas of the government and other places as well. So please do check out the tables downstairs. I'm going to do a quick public service announcement in this moment, which I forgot earlier. Does anybody not have one of these? Have you got everybody got a card that shows you what's going on? It's not a bingo card. You won't miss out on a game or anything, but it does let you know what's going on and what's happening next. We're all good. Great. Fantastic. I would also like to acknowledge a visiting scout leader who I see in front of me over there, Catherine O'Brien, who's the Scoutmaster of Troop 139. Rise and be acknowledged. Irene, what role are you in at this point? Irene Siomachev, Scouter extraordinaire. Everybody knows it. All right. You've met Pastor Allison already. And finally, Troop 36 scouts, friends, and relatives of our new Eagle Scout families, please rise and be acknowledged. That should be most of you in the room. This is the exercise portion. Thank you. You may be seated.
Will all Eagle Scouts in the audience and anyone who has received Girl Scouting's highest award, the Gold Award, please rise. We are honored you are here today to witness this important event in the lives of these Scouts. Will each of you please introduce yourselves and state the year when you received your Eagle Scout or Gold Award? You may be seated after you introduce yourself.
Picks a minute to start.
Let's go left to right.
Fleming in about June 1982. Matt Ferris in June 2006. Xavier Rodrigo, 2003,
Greg Patton, sometime in 1986, I don't remember.
Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce our program keynote speaker, John Guglielmone. Mr. Guglielmone, or John G. as many call him, is currently Operations Supervisor for the Eastern District State Parks at the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. John started as a seasonal employee with the State Parks Division in 2004 and has since held maintainer and park supervisor roles in a variety of locations throughout the state, including Sherwood Island State Park here in Westport. He is currently overseeing field operations throughout the eastern half of Connecticut. He has a master's degree in recreation administration from Southern Connecticut State University and holds a park and recreation professional certification with the National Recreation and Park Association. He earned the rank of Eagle Scout in 2003 with Troop 72 in Stratford. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Guglielmone.
Thank you. And thank you, Dylan. I don't know how many times you had to practice saying my last name, but spot on. Very, very well done. So it's a true pleasure and honor to be here. As Dylan said, my name is John Guglielmone. I'm the former park supervisor at Sherwood Island, and I'm here on behalf of the State Parks Division of the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection. But I'm also a scout, and have previously served as a scoutmaster and currently assistant scoutmaster with Troop 72 in Stratford. So you might imagine then that I've been wearing tan shirts and green pants for over 25 years since I became a Weeblo. So it's interesting to have my worlds collide here a bit today. Matthew, Henry, Oliver, and Xavier, congratulations on having earned the rank of Eagle Scout. Each of you had a dramatic impact on Sherwood Island through the implementation of your service projects. And while the service project is often viewed as the primary requirement for earning the rank of Eagle Scout, your leadership through that process demonstrated that scouting had prepared you well for that final step. Earning the rank of Eagle Scout has been one of my proudest achievements, and my Eagle certificate hangs in my office today. But because I have the opportunity to see my life blend a little bit, I thought I might do that with you and our younger scouts today. So I'm curious, any tenderfoot scouts? 1, 2, okay, good. Do you have a plan to become second class? All right, excellent. Do you have a plan to become Eagle? So I would say, and I think your fellow Eagle Scouts would acknowledge, that you do. The scouting program has given you a plan in the requirements that are set out to earn the rank of Eagle. So in many ways, anybody that starts scouting with enough time to earn Eagle by their 18th birthday can do that, as long as they follow those steps and requirements. So how many of you have a plan to do what to do when you grow up? Anybody? Anybody have anything they want to do? So this is a little trickier because the options and requirements aren't always as clearly spelled out for us. So where should we begin? And Scouting has a pretty good answer for this, too. Of course, it's the Merit Badge program. And each of those subject matters dives in to provide us with an educational overview of that particular field. And each of them, despite their topic and how precise a topic may be, present the opportunity for a professional career. So for me, my participation in Scouting and my appreciation for the outdoors, my eyes weren't always open to the idea of working in the field of Parks and Recreation. From a very young age, I had decided that I wanted to work in construction, and I really wasn't willing to budge on that plan. I remember clearly on a camping trip with my family, and my dad suggested that I might want to be a park ranger, and I scoffed. Absolutely not, no way, I knew exactly what I wanted to do. In my eyes, my mind had been made up. The time came to go to college, and I picked the most construction-related field I could find, engineering. Lucky for me, I had been working summers at state parks, and I had the opportunity to reevaluate my plan. And I realized fairly quickly that what I really wanted to do was to be a park supervisor. I completed my engineering degree and promptly began work as a maintainer with our state park system. So if you go back to my plan, in planning ahead, I knew that the degree in engineering might not make me the best candidate for the role that I wanted to fulfill in state parks. So I went back to school and earned a master's degree, picked up a part-time job as a park ranger in a local town, went and got a certification, all in an effort to play catch-up. And I'm sharing this because as I advanced my career with state parks and became a park supervisor myself, I had the opportunity to hire my own team of seasonal employees. And many times, these skilled and eager employees were in the same boat that I was, having chosen a field and earned a degree for a job that was less than appealing upon graduation. Now, I'm not saying that all of you need to change your course and come work for parks because, frankly, we don't have enough spots for everybody. But I'm encouraging you to participate in the Merit Badge program with a bit more awareness. The requirements for each Merit Badge don't spell out the steps to build a career in that field. But the scouting program has already prepared you to build a set of requirements of your own. And you can now plan ahead for what you think is the best set of requirements to meet the goal that you set for yourself. Many of you have likely heard the quote that's often attributed to Mark Twain, which he says, find a job you enjoy doing, and you will never have to work a day in your life. I am personally grateful each and every day to have found that for myself, and I hope and wish all of that for you. As you go through the scouting program, I encourage you to select the Merit Badge topics that interest you most for your ranks, and not just the ones that your peers are choosing or that have the most popular instructor at camp. Think hard about those topics that interest you most and that you enjoyed participating in. Listen to your feelings and choose a path that you will find fulfilling for yourself. Or in my case, listen to your father, either at home or here in the church. So thank you for having me today. Congratulations to the four of you. I wish you all the best success on your Eagle journey and in your careers. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Guglielmoni. I would like to invite Life Scout Dylan Kerpiel to the podium to tell us a bit about what it takes to become an Eagle Scout.
I would like to tell you all the story of Eagle Mountain. Early one morning, a young boy stood at a trailhead. Before him rose a mighty mountain, which seemed all the mightier when compared with its smallness. A trail led to the mountain and then up it to incredible heights before vanishing in clouds. On this trail, the boy could see other boys and young men, some of whom turned and beckoned him to follow. The boy began to climb, refusing perhaps to believe that he could ever reach the top. At first the trail rose gently, and the boy had many companions, but soon he began to sweat and breathe heavily, and many of his companions turned away, and still the boy climbed. At times he climbed quickly, at times he climbed slowly, at times he had to go down a little way to find another path or stop a while to catch his breath, but still he climbed. The trail became steeper, the air thinner, but the climber scarcely noticed, for he had, along the way, become stronger of body and hardier of spirit, and still he climbed. And finally, in the cool peace of evening time, he stood alone at the top of the world and looked around him. To the left, he saw a fiery golden sunset. To the right, he saw a diamond-studded, silky black night sky. Behind him, he saw the trail that he had followed and the hikers who were following in his footsteps. And in front of him, he saw another mountain, and another, and a whole procession of mountains marching off into the horizon. But the young man, for now he was a man, knew that none of these other mountains were insurmountable, that all could and would be climbed. For he had learned many skills in the climbing of the first mountain, and he would carry those skills with him long after this mountain was forgotten. And besides, he could begin climbing the next mountain tomorrow. Tonight, he would rest and celebrate and ponder the journey that he had completed. And so now, we pause and rest and celebrate and honor the journey of these young men, as they stand at the top of the world and look around them.
Thank you, Dylan. Every journey creates memories. At this time, we'd like to invite each of the Eagle Scouts to share a story from their journey.
Hi everyone, I am Xavier Rodrigo, and my favorite trip was the Block Island trip. And what's funny is that it wasn't actually the best planned, the best executed, or even my favorite location that we went to during my time as a scout. In fact, the trip started off with Jordan all the way in the back, getting really seasick on the boat to the island. And while we were on there, we did have a car, but getting around Block Island means you bike. And we were really excited at first, but then we realized that the sun would be out all day and it was 91 degrees. And so a few of the scouts ended up dying that day. Not actually, but something close to that. I think Oliver. Anyways, later on in that trip, I actually ended up having an allergic reaction as well. And I ended up in the Little Islands Hospital. And it was still probably one of the best experiences of my life. And that's because of the same reason that I looked forward to every single meeting, outing, and event that we had. It's because of the people who facilitate and participate in every single one of these events.
Thank you. So my favorite trip was going to the World Scout Jamboree in West Virginia, and it was really quite the experience to be able to meet with and interact with people from all around the world. The neighboring campsite were a bunch of people from Argentina, and they performed these elaborate dances and stuff like that, and then we shared meals with them, and it was just nice to interact with people from like the other side of the world.
Hi, I'm Henry. So the moment I wanted to share was about a few years ago. I was on a camping trip, and for dinner that night we were cooking a jambalaya, which ended up being kind of a disaster. Nobody wanted to eat it, and what I ended up doing was I ended up taking a few leftover ingredients, and I ended up making a dish that I called Henry's Stew. And it ended up being pretty good, and a lot of people enjoyed it. So it goes to show that you can make a good situation out of bad circumstances.
One good memory I had was going to the World Scout Jamboree in 2019 with Matthew, Jordan, and Jason, who are down there. And it was really a great experience. So for 2 weeks, we were in West Virginia, and the bus ride was maybe 9 or 10 hours. And what I really remember was getting off the bus and hiking 2 weeks worth of personal gear in the pouring rain, setting up tents, that kind of thing. And I actually got assigned patrol leader for the first time because they could just tell I was a great leader. I'm just kidding. They picked me randomly with a number generator, so I kind of had to deal with that. And we met countries from all over the world, from Kenya, Japan, all sorts of places. And we were trading patches, neckerchiefs, walking around, and buying overpriced knives. So it was a great time.
Thank you all. One of the last and most challenging requirements to become an Eagle Scout is the Eagle Project. This is usually a large effort, as it requires the Eagle candidate to find a project and willing beneficiary, solve planning problems like permits, funding materials, organizing volunteers, training helpers, dealing with every conceivable delay, on and on it goes. Let's take a few minutes to hear more. First Class Scout and Troop 36 Quartermaster Nicholas Penna will tell us more about Xavier's project.
Xavier's project helped Sherwood Island State Park by creating a new trail linking two areas of the park while traveling along a lane of trees. The result provided both a beautiful walkway and a safer route for visitors to the park, who previously tended to cut across the employees-only area. The project included digging out a lawn area to establish one end of the trail and filling it with gravel. 2 signs were also put in place as well as a new swinging gate.
Thank you, Nicholas. First Class Scout Clarissa Fleming of Troop 139 will tell us more about Matthew's project.
For my brother Matthew's Eagle Scout project, he created a picnic area at the local Sherwood Island State Park. This involved assembling and transporting picnic tables, digging holes for and inserting grills, and of course digging 16 holes to plant 16 trees that ranged from 10 to 16 feet tall. Being one of the volunteers who helped Matthew, it was no easy project. The ground was filled with rocks that slowed the digging process, and after planting the trees, we had to hammer 4 posts in around each tree to keep the deer out, fastening the fence to the posts with zip ties. It was a lot of work, but with the help of all the volunteers, namely the Nowak and Kerpiel families, as well as Mr. G, the park ranger, Matthew completed his project in 1 weekend.
Thank you, Clarissa. Star Scout and Troop 36 Assistant Senior Patrol Leader Thomas Nowak will tell us more about Henry's project.
Henry's project involves conducting maintenance on an observation deck at Sherwood Island State Park here in Westport. This observation deck is used to observe heron and other bird species near the water. Before Henry's project, the deck was in bad shape. Paint was falling off, leaving it vulnerable to rot and making it visually unappealing. In order to conduct the renovation, Henry and his team scraped off and safely removed the old paint, and then applied 2 new coats of a white water-resistant stain.
Thank you, Thomas. And Nicholas Penna will now return to tell us more about Oliver's project.
Oliver's project involved removing an invasive species from a section of the West Beach Dunes at Sherwood Island State Park. The area is infested with mugwort, a plant that obstructs the growth of the native blonde grass. Oliver's team used shears and other tools to remove the invasive species, and then applied an approved herbicide to ensure that the project had a lasting impact on the local ecosystem of the dunes. Participants also removed the vines that had entangled and degraded the fence bordering the dunes.
Thank you again, Nicholas. We have now learned a lot about how these 4 young men achieved the rank of Eagle Scout, but being an Eagle Scout also requires commitment to the future. Scoutmaster Patton will now deliver the Eagle Charge. Would the Eagle Scouts please rise?
Before I deliver the charge, I just wanted to note the obvious thing that got said, which is that all 4 of their projects were at Sherwood Island State Park. And we have the former supervisor who was on, at Sherwood Island State Park here. So it's appropriate that those projects took place at Sherwood Island State Park. We're, as a program, very committed to nature, very committed to conservation, very committed to the outdoor world. The outdoor world is our classroom. We spend time in troop meetings learning skills. We do various things, but then we go out into the woods and the rivers and the sea and everywhere else we have, mountaintops, and do our work and practice there and encounter adversity there, as you heard from some of their stories. And so I'm struck by the fact that all 4 of their projects benefited a park for local citizens to be able to go to and enjoy nature as well. So thank you for your work. All right. Xavier, Matthew, Henry, and Oliver, you have each provided an outstanding example to everyone around you of how an Eagle Scout leads, works, acts, and lives. So now it's time to look ahead, to bring your many gifts and your considerable experience out into the wider world as adults. It is sometimes said that you can tell someone is an Eagle Scout without being told that they are. I am confident that that will be true of each of you. And today I charge you to rededicate yourself by repeating this Eagle promise with me, resolve to uphold forever its principles with the same ambition and perseverance that have brought you so far. Scout sign. Repeat each line after me, please. I reaffirm my allegiance. To the promises of the Scout Oath. I thoughtfully recognize and will always fulfill the obligations and responsibilities of an Eagle Scout. On my honor, I will do my best to make my training an example to others and use my influence and status as an Eagle Scout to work for a brighter, more just future for all. In my community, in my nation, and in the world. To this, I pledge my sacred honor. 2. May the oath you have just taken remain engraved on your hearts. Congratulations again. As your Scoutmaster, I am proud of all of you, and I'm grateful to have accompanied you on this journey. Please be seated. I'll fix one audio thing. It's what happens when you're the sound engineer as well as the Scoutmaster. All right. We will now present the Eagle Pins, Medal, and other awards. We're going to do this for each Scout in the order that they earned the rank. So I'd ask that you please hold your applause until invited to congratulate the Eagle and their family. So we'll cue you for that.
Would the Rodrigo family please rise and be escorted to the chancel?
The awards will be presented by Assistant Scoutmaster Andy O'Brien, who's helping me up here. Thank you. First, we'll start with the Eagle Pin. The Eagle Pin will be presented to the Scout by the Scout's mother. This is the exciting part with all the sharp objects. Xavier's father will present him with the Eagle Certificate. Much simpler, fewer sharp objects. His parents will present him with the Eagle Neckerchief. Now Xavier will present his mother with the mother's pin. Xavier will present his mother again with the mother's pin. Oh, we lose the backing. We can find it later. And finally, Xavier will present his father with the father's pin. Or bail on the process. All right. Please join me in congratulating Xavier and his family.
The Rodrigo family can return to their seats. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Xavier to say a few words.
Hi, everyone. I'd like to start by thanking you all for coming. Your constant support throughout my years as a Scout served as the foundation for everything we did. When I first arrived in Westport, I had no clue that a group of people known for tying really complicated knots would be something I would dedicate 6 years of my life to. And I now know that it's way more than that, and I have to give a special thank you to the true Scouts for that. Raphael and David introduced me to the Scout and his kids, and your family has influenced and shaped my life in more ways than you can imagine. I'd also like to thank Mr. Patton, of course, our great Scout master. Always the most calm, collected, patient, and sometimes the most terrifying person in the room. I strive to emulate the example you set for me every single day, and know that while I still procrastinate, I try to take every step of my life with intention and care as you did during my time as a Scout. Of course, John Guglielmoni, thank you as well. You gave me the opportunity to help out at the state park, but also provided me with assistance throughout the process. I greatly admire your eagerness to advance not just myself, but multiple Scouts as you have shown throughout the Eagle Scout process. But most of all, thank you to my family. For all the little things, and especially the big things, I would not be here today without you guys. I literally used my mom's credit card to buy the train ticket here. But seriously, as a Fordham priest once told me, there is no such thing as a self-made man. I may be the one taking the steps, but it has been all of you who has guided me and pushed me forward. My achievements will never be mine alone, because without all of you, they would not have been possible. To all the Scouts here today, I implore you to try for Eagle. It will be something that you will look back on and be glad you did. I joined this troop in the 8th grade and did not think that I was going to get this, and today being here is surreal, 2 years after I've already done it. But all I had to do was come in every single week and listen to Mr. Patton and the great assistant Scoutmasters that we've had throughout the years. If you want this rank, and if you truly act like that, it will be yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Xavier. Would the Fleming family please rise and be escorted to the chancel?
So first, Matthew's mother will present him with the Eagle pin, large medal. With 4 families, of course, everyone gets a chance to learn from what they see on stage. We're expecting flawless execution by the time we get to Oliver's family. Matthew's father, Assistant Scoutmaster Fleming, will present Matthew with the Eagle Scout certificate. His parents will present him with the Eagle Scout neckerchief. Matthew will present his mother with the mom pin. And finally, Matthew will present his father with the father pin. Please join me in congratulating Matthew and his family.
The Fleming family can return to their seats. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Matthew to say a few words.
I want to start by thanking my dad, the Assistant Scoutmaster, Mr. Fleming. He was also an Eagle Scout along with his father and was the one who put me in Cub Scouts as a kindergartner and kept me in the program throughout high school. I can't thank you enough for all of your support, whether it was helping me with badges, coming on camping trips and hikes with me, or helping me build my first Pinewood Derby race car 13 years ago. Thank you for encouraging me when I doubted whether or not I wanted to pursue Eagle. There were many times when I wanted to just give up. The planning and execution was a logistical nightmare, but you were always there to help me. I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for your help. Next, I want to thank Scoutmaster Patton for all his patience with me when I first joined the troop, and for all the fun outings that you helped us plan. You've always put the boys first and always looked forward to making the outings as fun as you could for us. I remember planning a Hoyt outing with you at one of our meetings, and you had the idea of doing rifle shooting, one of the more fun activities we did at Hoyt, and just to get more boys to come. It's these small things that make you a great Scoutmaster. I would also like to thank Mr. Duguid, the owner of Oliver's Nurseries, for kindly donating and transporting 16 trees for my Eagle Scout project. It was really last minute, and he really saved me there. Lastly, I want to thank John G., the Sherwood Island Park Ranger. You were super enthusiastic when I first reached out to you about doing my Eagle Scout project at the park, and you made the process so much easier for me by providing the necessary equipment to carry out the project, having an arborist help me with planting the trees, and things like that. Your guidance is what helped me complete my project. Scouting has done so much for me. When I first joined Troop 36, I was a headache to deal with. Learning from the older boys over the years, Scouting has helped me grow into the person I am, teaching me core values like the 12 points of the Scout Law that I try to uphold on a daily basis. I've learned leadership skills which I've applied in aspects of my life outside of Scouting, like being a track captain at Staples. I've learned about proper communication, survival skills, and lessons on the importance of focus. And most importantly, I've learned to be prepared. All these things have shaped me into who I am today and who I will be in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Would the Nowak family please rise and be escorted to the chancel?
Henry's mother will present him with the Eagle Scout pin. Henry's father, Assistant Scoutmaster Nowak, will present him with the Eagle Scout certificate. His parents will now present him with the Eagle Scout neckerchief. Henry will now present the mom pin to his mother. And Henry will present the dad pin to his father. Please join me in congratulating Henry and his family.
The Nowak family can return to their seats. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Henry to say a few words.
First of all, there are so many people that I would like to thank. The process of becoming an Eagle Scout was neither quick nor easy, and it took the support and guidance of so many people along the way. Here are a few of the most important ones. First of all, I'd like to thank my parents, who have been incredibly supportive in this process. I'd like to thank my grandfather, Pop-Ups, who's here, and he inspired me to get into Scouts in the first place by giving me the vintage Scout book you can see downstairs. I'd like to thank all the adults in the troop, especially Mr. Patton and Mr. Fleming, for their years of help and support. And I'd like to thank the troop committee as well for making what we do possible. I'd like to thank all the families and scouts who came and helped with my Eagle project and made that possible. I'd like to thank the Siomachevs for their help and guidance during my time in the Cub Scouts. I'd like to thank Mr. Guglielmoni and Mrs. Bernaskina for all their help during my Eagle Scout process. And I'd finally like to thank all of you for coming out here today. I've learned and I've grown so much during my journey to becoming an Eagle Scout. From practical knowledge, such as knot tying, tent pitching, and fire building, to more abstract skills, such as leadership, planning, and responsibility. Learning these things took time and work. Those skills were honed across hundreds of meetings and dozens of camping trips. But I know that every time I was ever uncomfortable, hungry, or exhausted, I was learning valuable sets of skills that will be useful for me now and for the rest of my life. This isn't at all to say that my time in the Boy Scouts was unfun or tedious. I've had so many positive experiences, so much fun, and I've made so many friends over the years. There have been plenty of inside jokes between me and the other scouts in the troop, something all these people here can attest to. And more importantly, I've had the opportunity to make positive, meaningful impacts on my community through volunteering, as well as organizing service projects at Sherwood Island, including my Eagle Project. As my scouting career comes to an end, I recognize that this experience is more than worth the time and dedication it requires. I know that all the other scouts here, especially the Eagle Scouts, feel the same way. Thank you.
Thank you, Henry. Would the Saitz family please rise and be escorted to the chancel?
Oliver's mother will present him with the Eagle Scout pin. Oliver's father will present him with the Eagle Scout certificate. Well done. Oliver's parents will present him with the Eagle Scout neckerchief. Oliver will present his mother with the mom pin. And Oliver will present his father with the dad pin. Please join me in congratulating Oliver and his family.
The Saitz family can return to their seats. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Oliver to say a few words.
It was 2015, the first time I ever got associated with Scouts as a Cub Scout. I lived in Manhattan, New York City until 5th grade, and I knew I had to assimilate into my new suburban life fast after we moved. Beforehand, I had barely any idea what this program was about. My mom forced me to go, dropped me off, and basically told me to deal with it. I thought it'd be one of those things where if I whined enough, and I mean really whined, she'd drop it and let me go do something else. It's a good strategy when you're not even in middle school. To be honest, I didn't really like it the first time, and probably not even the second time. Believe me, these meetings are far from the highlight, but I stuck with it. I spent some time, went through the ranks, and finally got to do the actual fun part, which is going on campouts. Soon after, I crossed over into Boy Scouts, where I've had the biggest bulk of my memories. As I grew older and grew taller, well, only a little bit taller, I learned new skills and climbed up the leadership positions. I learned a few life lessons along the way and had some really good times. I also got a few merit badges and got to do an Eagle project, but that's not really important. What is important is that I got here alongside everyone else beside me who worked just as hard. But I'd like to go over who I'd like to thank first. I'd like to thank my family for making me proud to be a Saitz, and also my grandfather, who's in the audience. He was a Boy Scout as well and earned the rank of life. So he also really encouraged me. I'd also like to thank my friends, a few whom are Eagles themselves in the audience and beside me, and the troop leadership, including Scoutmaster Patton, Assistant Scoutmasters Fleming, Nowak, O'Brien, the entire troop committee, and of course Mrs. Bernashina for being my Eagle advisor and helping me every stage of the way during my Eagle project, and also Mr. G for being a great beneficiary. Thank you for everything, guys. It's been the journey of a lifetime.
Thank you, Oliver. I have a couple of final notes. Each of the Eagle Scouts has received many letters and certificates from government representatives and other significant leaders. Many of them will be on display at the reception, along with some of their scouting memorabilia. There will also be a slideshow playing so you can see what these young men looked like at age 11. Everyone is welcome to congratulate the Eagle Scouts and their families by joining us downstairs in Hoskins Hall immediately following the conclusion of our ceremony. You can reach Hoskins Hall using the main staircase or elevator on this side of the building. I would like to call forward Reverend Patton for the benediction, and would the color guard please take your places.
Will you join your hearts with mine one more time as we conclude this time together? The benediction is just a good word, and we've had lots of good words this afternoon. Here's just one more to send us out and take what we have heard with us as we go. Go forth from this place to embody the values that we have celebrated here. Be brave in service to love and justice, generous with your time and with your compassion. Tend to each other and to the land that sustains us. And as you go, may God bless you with peace and with wonder and with joy. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Patton. Nicholas Penna will lead the closing ceremony. Would the audience please rise and remain standing until the end of the ceremony?
Attention. Scout is
Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent.
Turn the colors. Scout salute.
Forward march.
Forward march.
Follow them out, follow them out. 2.
This concludes our Court of Honor. Please join us downstairs in Hoskins Hall.
Thank you for coming. Waited too long. Just step up and play. I thought you'd be ready to go. The idea was to go as soon as he said it. Just play. They'll catch on. Play.